Hello, everyone. How are you guys? I know it's been a while, and I'm just really, really pleased to be on here with you guys. There's a lot going on. There's been a lot going on, and I thought it was suitable to do an energy update on the 31st of October, Halloween, just to catch you guys up on some of what you might be feeling and dealing with. And I decided to title this video Purge and Reemerge, which I think is very fitting for the theme of the month. So we have 322 people in the house. We're going to give it a couple more minutes to give people a chance to embark on this magical journey with us. And you're probably going to feel a shift in my energy, like my vibrational pitch has shifted a little bit. And that's because I've been in a very surrendered state lately. And I've had to be, just because I'm dealing with a lot that I'll also share with you guys. I'm very much in my heart lately. I haven't been in my higher mind because you guys know I specialize in the pineal gland. So we have this incredible device in our brain, which is a crystalline technology, and it's literally like a device. And what I specialize in is working in concert with it to input new codes for reality, to birth new galaxies, to do all of these things. It has many functions. It serves many functionalities. And I believe that we're all here to cater to a frequency. And for me, I'm definitely here on a mission to upload new templates for reality, new models, if you will, for our new Earth existence. And that requires a lot of active work with the pineal gland and the grid systems. So the universal grid system, the planetary body of Gaia. And then in terms of my frequency, what I offer is I contribute the frequency of peace, which is where my Be a Dot came from. I live in a state of peace. I never plan things in advance. I really just march to my own drum in my life. And I am holding hands with my universe all day long, and it guides me. So this week has been really eye-opening because I've really come to this realization that we all are here to contribute our own very distinctive frequency to the collective. And please let me know if you're hearing me correctly, because I would hate to watch the replay and it's all chopped. We're all glitchy. Okay, great. Fantastic. So thank you to Turbo Internet for that. Oh, has it been breaking? Okay, good. No, it sounds good. Awesome. A bit glitched. Okay, good. Let me just see, because a few people are saying that there are glitches. Like, is every word coming out clearly? Okay. Awesome. Perfect. So yeah, so I work with the pineal gland, and that requires me to be in my divine masculine a lot, like that raw energy, that Merlin energy, because I'm actively working with the device. No different than someone who codes computers. You're working with it. You're actually going into the grid through astral travel, through projecting your consciousness, and you're dialing all these different codes. It's like dialing phones, and then you're having to anchor that higher cosmic energy into the grid. So it's very active. Now, most of us have access to more of this indigo energy, and other people have access to the crystal, but we all have access to both. It's just a matter of preference. The first few years of my awakening, I was very much in my crystal energy. And the crystal energy is when you're surrendered to life, when you allow for this invisible river to just carry you along. And you're in your heart. You don't need to meditate and actively work with everything because you're in a receptive mode where you receive a lot of intel. So it's more of a flowing with your universe, and you're paying attention to the subtleties but you may not go into the pineal gland and activate and crystallize and input all these different codes. I got a download a few years ago that I was part of a collective of other humans who feel very alone in the world, but who work with their pineal gland in the same capacity as I do. And we all telepathically communicate when we go on these walking meditations. We're able to exchange information through the cloud of consciousness and through what it is that we represent. And every person on here is an emissary for a different frequency. Some people are an emissary for the frequency of caregiving. Some people are an emissary for the frequency of peace, like I am. Some people are an emissary for the frequency of love. Some people are an emissary for the frequency of gratitude. And every single one of these frequencies has a different texture. It has a different quality. It almost has like a different scent to it. And this week, it's really dawned on me that I'm definitely part of the frequency of peace, because when I have to step out of my alignment and deal with 3D things like the DMV or calling phone companies to get things in order, I feel like I wobble out of alignment a little bit because that's not my home frequency. Now, keep in mind, I'm not bypassing because I've dealt with all of that in the past, but I eventually found my way back home, which was that I just want to live in my castle, my metaphorical castle, and serve humanity from that place, because at heart, I'm a mystic. And when you're a mystic, you're required to have a very peaceful existence so that you can travel inwardly. And anything that pulls you out of that is a little bit of a nuisance because you get pulled back into 3D. But you're not really getting pulled back into 3D. And I'll touch on that in a minute. Okay, it's a choice because we are here with the free will. You have the free license to do what you please. And at the end of the day, it boils down to choice. So, the first thing I'm going to share very, very transparently and vulnerably with you guys, which is, I know I've been blogging a lot on the community post, and I'm like, you guys, I'm going through a lot right now. And a lot of you are like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And I didn't want to deliberately have you at the edge of your seat. I just wasn't in a position to share. Like, honestly, I wasn't. And thank you so much for that donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you for acknowledging everything. I appreciate it. So, you guys know about my past in psychiatric wards, and I was misdiagnosed bipolar 14 years ago. And that's behind me now. I've been off meds for like 10 years. I was able to overcome those obstacles and climb my way back to the top against all odds. The part of me that you don't know is that I've been undocumented in the United States for a long, long time, without papers, without working papers. And I had to build my business by being illegal. I had to build my business as an undocumented alien. And it's been a lot. It's been very intense. It's been a very arduous journey to have to jump through hoops and find my way and maneuver my way through the system in order to serve humanity. But the thing is, I needed to leave Canada because I felt very oppressed there. I think as long as I would have stayed there, I probably still would have been on meds, living at my mom's house, feeling like I don't belong in this reality, feeling like I'm just a black sheep. And yes, I'm Canadian, for those of you watching, and I've been undocumented for a very long time. And I never share that with people because, you know, there are a lot of trolls out there and a lot of people who have threatened to kill me and all of these things. And I know that sometimes people can be really, they can be predatorial and they don't want to see you succeed, or they'll do anything that they can to drive a wedge between you and the life that you're creating. So I haven't been able to share with you that I've been undocumented in the United States for a long time. And it's funny because you see someone who looks like me, I look American, and you never know what someone's dealing with or struggling with. So I just want you to know that it's not, when you see someone, just don't be too quick to judge them because you never know what they're dealing with. And it's been a lot for me. I'm not going to lie. I had to, when you're in a state of fight or flight, you get inundated with all kinds of fearful thoughts that you're going to get deported, or that you're not going to get to realize your mission, or to actualize your dreams. And you kind of feel like you're never going to be free. So for years, I really had to master my mind. So when I tell you guys that I do the work, I really do the work, because most of what I go through is private, and I'm not in a position to share what I deal with. Um, so for years, I've been inundated with a lot of fearful thoughts about my life, and kind of like a sink or swim situation, where it's like I used to get attacked psychically that I should just go back home because it's not going to work out. And that there was like this tug of war, because my soul called me here. My spirit called me to LA, because I think that my angelic team, knew that I needed to individuate, knew that I had to separate from the control structures of the hospitals and the doctors and my family, to eventually find my way. So I haven't been able to share all of this with you guys, but this month has been heavy for a lot of us. I do have good news. So, as you know, I moved this month, and I'm in a new apartment. And to most people, moving is a big deal. It's a very stressful endeavor. For me, that's like cake. That's easy, right? And that's nothing. Thank you, Stephanie. This month, I was dealing with the green card, immigration, and I found out about a week ago that I had to get my driver's exam done again. And I haven't been licensed as a driver in 20 years. I mean, I passed that exam 20 years ago, and I've been driving for 20 years. And my lawyer was like, you need to go do both of your driving tests now. And I really didn't want to do it. I actually cringed at the thought of studying again, because I don't like anything that's systematic. I don't like anything that's systemic, I think is the right word. Like anything that relates to the system really bothers me, because I've really created my own reality, like I said, against all odds. And I really have managed to find joy and peace and create heaven on earth. Sorry. I've been able to create heaven on earth. And my guides reaffirmed me this week. They said, Phil, just because you have to do a driver's exam again doesn't mean that you're taking a few steps back. Okay, you chose to be here in LA, and every choice has repercussions. Every choice has a certain responsibility that has to be assumed. And this is what comes with the territory. And I really, really wrestled this week, because I was like, I think I'm done. I think I'm just going to move to Bali, and I'm out, because I already know what frequency I'm here to contribute. And because I was shown this week that everything I'm saying now is true, that I'm an emissary for the frequency of peace. And that if I was to go to Bali, that would be completely okay. It doesn't make me broken. It doesn't make me less evolved. But then I had to get really real with myself and say, no, but I really want this. I have fought for this. So I'm not going to back out at the 11th hour. I'm going to see this through. But I went to a really dark place in my mind where I was like, I'm done. Like, I know where I belong now in terms of my vibration, in terms of my vibrational range. And I want to inspire people to be who they are, to align to the frequency that they're meant to serve and support by being exactly who I am. And so my guides were very adamant about the fact that they're not against me going to Bali, but then that was still me trying to manipulate it and say, right? I was kind of like cowering. And they said, Phil, you want this. You chose this because you don't have to do this. You could have lived in Canada. You wouldn't have all these hoops to jump through. You could go to Bali tomorrow and have an amazing life where you can buy a house and serve people and have people come see you in Bali. But then I had to get really real and say, no, but I want this. This is what I want. And so I have to participate in 3D if I have to get legal. That's just part of it, right? And my pride was like, but I've been here before. I'm sick of struggling. I'm sick of like pushing through all these barriers. I don't want to do this anymore. And my guide said, guess what? You have, and you've graduated, and you don't have to if you don't want to. We're not forcing your hand. We don't have a gun at your head. You can leave right now. So, yeah. So, in the last 2 weeks, I received my Social Security in the US, and I passed both of my driving exams. And yesterday, thanks to you guys and sending me your prayers and sending me light, I did my green card interview and it went phenomenal. And my lawyer said to me, you did an exceptional job. And I mean, the woman who interviewed was like, you can expect your green card in the next 5 weeks. So I don't think she would have said that. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Hello. I'm really well. How are you? Yeah. Sure. I'm actually. I'm working. I'll do tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Sure. I appreciate it. This time is great. Okay. Yeah. Or even in an hour. Okay. I'm not sure because I'm by myself today, so I gotta go downstairs and see what I got as far as work orders. All right. But yeah, we can do 9 to 12 tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Perfect. I'll update the work order. Thank you. Have a great day. Hey guys, sorry. Anyways, I think I did an exceptional job at the green card interview. I haven't heard back. I should hear back any moment now. It's just been a long road, and it's finally over, meaning that I've done everything I can, and now it's just, it's time to reemerge. And I feel like this month we've been going through a major purge, you guys. I feel like this month was tailored for us to break down more programming, but we didn't have to do it actively. It was being done for us and through us by our other aspects, by our angels, by our guides. Because I'm telling you, I did not like having to do all these interviews and spending countless hours at Staples printing things and documents and proof and utility bills and all of these things. I did not like that one bit. It felt so dense, like, oh, it's so dense. And I didn't like it, but it had to be done. It had to be done. And I found myself having to be in a surrendered space. And I intentionally and deliberately chose to not meditate because I wanted to feel this experience, right? I've been waiting for this for so long that I wanted to be in my human. I wanted to be in my avatar. It was really important that I feel all of it, which is why I made a decision to not meditate the last week. Okay? So I'm going on maybe 5 hours sleep. It's been a very stressful time. I want to share the biggest download that came from it all. I realized, and thank you so much for that $79 donation. I really appreciate you. Thank you. It really does help. Thank you. So what I really realized this week is how much I distrust humans. I don't trust humans. And I'll tell you where that was stemming from, okay? It was stemming from a place of, if I function within integrity, if I operate at the highest rate of honesty and truthfulness and integrity, some people may not like my face because of that. Some people may decide that they don't like me because I'm an honest person. So these people that were examining me and the driver test guy that made me do my exam, I felt like Humans can sometimes distort information and filter it through their ego and decide that if you have purple hair, they're going to fail you. And I'm sure that that kind of stuff happens, right? If you have someone who's overweight, someone might not like you and they might decide, well, guess what? You don't have priority. Or if you have purple hair or you have tattoos and it brings back a memory that triggers them, they may decide, well, I'm going to flunk you just because I don't like your face. So this week I was like, I realized how much I don't trust humans because I know that I operate with an integrity, but I don't know that that's always true for other humans. Okay, without sounding like a victim here, I really do operate with integrity. Okay, you'll never see me as someone who's like trying to manipulate an exchange at the store, like, oh, I haven't used this and I want to return it. When I buy something, if I've used it, it's mine. I'm responsible for that. That's what I mean. Okay. So I was really grappling with this week where I was like, I know where I stand now, but in the 3D, in that third dimensional space time continuum, I just don't really trust humans, which is why I like to live in my castle, which is why I like to live in this beautiful castle that I've built with God, where everything feels peaceful. But this is the download that shifted my week. All right. And that doesn't mean the stress just subsided. The stress was still there. And the reason it was there is because the way I live my life is I don't like to receive feedback from other timelines. I like to study them, but I don't like to be at the mercy of them. And I very much felt like my destiny was not in my control. It was at the hands of another person, like the person testing you, the person who decides if they like you or not. And I didn't like that. Whereas when you create your own reality, right? You're the boss because you've created it with God. It's you and God. It's a co-creative effort, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. It's you and your angels. But when you're dealing with other humans, it's not just you anymore and what you've created. You're now participating in an other reality that isn't just about you. It includes that other person too. Okay. So this is the download that came in that completely altered my frequency this week. Wow. I'm getting a chill just thinking about it. My guides said to me, and I'm going to say it was my angels because I've been feeling such a presence from my angelic team. My angels said to me, Phil, rather than not trusting other humans and thinking that the world is against you when you're a high vibrational being who emanates light, rather than thinking that, because there is a dark side to life, right? And we have to look at it. You can't just be like, oh, all is fine and dandy and everything is great and I'm going to leave my doors unlocked. Because the truth is someone might come into your house and rob your house. An enlightened being, a well-rounded being has to look at the heads and the tails. They have to look at both sides of the coin to realize that they are the coin, right? And that they're part of a coin. And there are always two sides. We're in a dualistic plane of existence. So what my angels chimed in to tell me is rather than thinking that the world is that these humans are against you, because I actually don't think that the world is against me. I actually think the world is miraculous, especially when you're creating your own reality with source, right? Like you're refining your frequency, everything that you occupy in terms of the dimensional spaces that you inhabit draws back to you a like frequency. So I actually think this life is magical. My life is magical, okay? My life. But when it comes to life, I'm not always crazy about life. I'm crazy about my life. I'm not crazy about life. Life meaning like all the other humans that are a part of it. The ones that you don't have control over, the things that you're not in control of. That's the part of life I don't like. I like my life. And I also know that we're here to create our own reality and then lend that frequency for other people to pick up so that they can then create their own frequency. You feel me? Everyone has been encoded with a very particular frequency that they're here to contribute to the whole. Everyone. And we're here to inspire each other, to empower ourselves to then contribute our own unique frequency. You got it? You got that, right? So I'm not going to slide back and go play in that old reality because I've already created my own reality. But there are times in life that call for you to play in it if you want something, if you're choosing something. I chose to become legal. Guess what? You have to play in 3D. That's just part of it. You have to play in the matrix. There's a system. And the me that I know myself to be doesn't like that system because I'm living on a different timeline, which is eventually going to become physicalized for all of humanity, right? Which is why I never tell my friends, you should charge for your readings, because I charge for readings. I think it's important, but some of them don't feel comfortable. So I never tell them you should charge. If you don't feel comfortable and that's your truth, then you're anchoring in that timeline. See, for me, I'm anchoring in a different timeline. I want people to start realizing that they're the ones who have been cutting themselves off from their own abundance. So the second that they pay for a session, it's going to come back tenfold because I'm a gatekeeper of that realm of abundance. So for me, I charge because people need to learn boundaries. People need to learn how to honor you. People need to learn how to put their spirit first and realize there's an investment. This chair is really expensive, right? I wasn't complaining when I bought it because I knew it would bring me joy. So if someone is wanting to better their lives, you have to invest in your soul. And investment doesn't mean you have to pay for a session with me. It means you have to invest time in yourself. All right? I never paid for readings, but I invested time in my closet and I spent countless hours meditating. An investment doesn't have to be monetary. It's vibrational. It's where you're choosing to direct your energy. So we're all here to anchor in these different timelines. So, and the other thing is, I want to tell you something. It's kind of good to charge, just side note, just because if you only depend on donations, you're going to find yourself asking for donations all the time. And it's okay to ask for what you need because a lot of people don't know to donate. I ask for donations, but I'm not going to only depend on donations because if I'm only depending on that one branch of my tree, I'm going to be screwed. I'm always going to be asking you guys for donations. That's not cute. So my business has been crafted to where I have a tree, I have a membership program, I have my sessions. With those, I don't need to rely on people for donations. But I also want to anchor in that timeline where we don't have to charge anymore. So I accept donations because my hope is that we can eventually all become conscious enough to go, hey, I really enjoyed my hour with you. Here's some money. And then none of us have to play the game of charging anymore, right? There's many things going on, but if you only barter, if you only do free exchanges, you're always going to be at the mercy of a payment. So I definitely don't encourage that. You want to have many branches in your business, right? I have my membership, I have my webinars, I sell my webinars, I have my personal sessions, I have donations. And the reason why I haven't been doing as many webinars is because I want to see that people are becoming more conscious and we can all contribute to each other without doing sessions anymore, but rather with how much did I enjoy this and how much do I want to give? Because I do that for everyone. It doesn't matter if someone spends 1 minute cleaning my sunglasses at the store, I'm tipping them because I appreciate them taking the time out. And they're not getting anything from it. They probably get $10 an hour at this sunglass store, right? So we have to start seeing and compassionizing with everyone and honoring the divine in them. We have to honor the divine in everyone. But I would never set myself up to only depend on donations because that would be me disempowering myself. If it happens, great, we're moving up on the scale. Great. And then I can start to move away from these other things. But no, you want to be smart. You want to be sensible. Okay, so I know I'm bouncing around. Let me get back to the download. So my angel said to me this week, rather than thinking that the world is against you, we want you to start viewing every single human, every single person who examines you and tests you, every single green card officer. We want you to start viewing every human as having been hand selected by us, your angelic team, to help propel you forward on your path. All right, I'm going to repeat that. Rather than thinking that the world is against you, we are asking that you surrender, because every human that we're sending your way has been hand selected, hand picked by us, your angelic team, to help further you along your path. And that's when everything changed for me. Everything. I realized that even though I don't know these people that are going to be at the interview or at the driver license exam, there's a bigger orchestration that is happening for my highest good. And they're not my enemy. They're there to help me along. And that's when everything changed. And then the guide showed me that when we go into something, like we're trying to return something or we're trying to pass an exam and we're trying too hard, like, oh, hi, how are you today? And you're being overly nice, that's a form of resistance to something that's already been orchestrated for you and through you. I hope this makes sense. You got it? If you go into an exam and you're like, hi, how are you? And you're trying too hard, you're speaking too much. That in and of itself is a form of resistance to what's already been orchestrated for you, meaning that this person that you're trying too hard with is part of your team. You don't know them physically, but they're part of your team. So all you need to do in those circumstances is show up, submit, surrender, and allow for the unfoldment to happen. That's all you have to do. And when you try too hard, and I've done it too, I probably did it all week where I was like, hi, sir. Oh my God, I said sir. I had to use the word sir with the driver test guy. I said sir like 50 times. I hated saying sir. Hi, sir. Okay, sir. Oh, I hate that word. I hate that word. Hi, sir. Hi, sir. I hate that word. But I had to use it like 50 times. This week was all about, no, this whole month. So I had to deal with a move. I had to deal with my driver's exam. I had to deal with my green card. I had to deal with all these things. It was a big month for me. This month was a big month for everyone who's watching this. We are going through an immense purge. Immense. This is not about meditating and levitating. This is about surrendering and moving back into the heart space. This is about trusting that the universe has your back 100% of the time. And I was freaking out, and they were probably laughing up there, going, oh, he's so cute in his little avatar. We've already finalized it for him. And he's still resisting us. He's not able to lean into it. Right? They were like, oh, Phil is panicking. Phil is panicking. Yeah. But what's interesting is all the downloads I received, like moving to Bali, were all true too. That's the thing. So it was wonderful to examine these different downloads in my receptive mode. It was really wonderful. This month was about allowing for the divine feminine to rise again, fully, entirely. Being compassionate with ourselves when we don't trust, because we have reason to not trust. We've all kind of manipulated each other. We've all been in our ego. We've all been mean to someone just because we were having a bad day. But this month has cracked my heart open to the degree where if someone says to me, I'm struggling right now, rather than saying, let's work on that, but it's something that you've created, which is true. My new approach is, what can I do for you? I'm here for you. What do you need? Because whatever you're doing that's outside of your frequency, right? For me, it's the frequency of peace. Whatever I'm doing that's outside of that is me kind of helping the collective in a frequency domain that I'm not necessarily comfortable in. So when someone's dealing and struggling with something, they're in a frequency domain that actually isn't fully in alignment with who they are. but they had to step away temporarily to help the collective come along, to help clear certain imprints. Think about that. So even though I didn't want to do everything I did this week or the last few years, because I did it with grace, because I was meditating every day and I didn't just regurgitate all my issues on YouTube, because I was able to sit on those emotions and sit with those emotions and chew them and transmute them, I was able to also help spiral upward all these collective imprints that are part of the planetary body of Gaia. So on an individual scale, I didn't want to deal with it, but my collective mission, my assignment is to help clear things that other people may not be clearing, or that they might be clearing, but they need some support. You feel me? So, yeah, it's been a lot, but we're here and we're alive and we're breathing. And we're being asked to connect back into the heart. And to know that the magic is always accessible and available, whether you're meditating and in trance and astral projecting, or when you're in a surrendered space. Because your universe is always going to recalibrate your vibratory field. It's always going to recalibrate it. And if it doesn't do it now, it'll do it later. So how I took it this week was like, okay, there was a recalibration that needed to happen anyways. So I'm just going to fully surrender to this so that I can allow for that adjustment to happen. Okay. So it's good to vibrate high and to move into those higher octaves. But remember something, there are aspects of yourself or other dimensional aspects, because we're all one, that may increase their visibility, right, within the quantum field. And I talked about this in the last video. They might increase their visibility because they're needing your they need your help. They need your assistance. So think of it like this, right? I'll just give you a visual. I was living a very peaceful life. I created my own reality. I'm making my own money. I learned how to build a business by being undocumented, all of this. I made it happen. But then there was this other aspect held within the quantum field in this now, right? It can be any timeline, that was needing my assistance. And so it placed a call and it said, Phil, come help us. And I was like, okay, here we go. We're going to go back into 3D and we're going to help this aspect. Now, funnily enough, that aspect is that old version of myself that had a desire to be in LA and is now needing my maturity to step into the fold to help assist it through this DMV, through this, and to bring my expertise of surrendering and trusting into the fold. Because if it was on its own, it probably would have panicked and spiraled. I know this is really deep, but I hope you guys are keeping up. So it's like, I want to use another metaphor, but it's like every choice you've ever made, everything you've ever imagined, that aspect of yourself is dwelling on a certain timeline, which really just means on a different frequency. Okay? It's a different bandwidth. So there's you, but then there's all these other yous. And you may not be able to see them in this version of your now. But in the now, meaning in the multidimensional quantum field, there's another aspect of yourself that may need your help. And it might place a call and it might say, come back, we need your help. And by having you there, we're going to be able to collectively move through this barrier. Okay? And conversely, right, you might be in a position where you're struggling, like I was struggling this week, and I called upon that angelic aspect that's probably on a different timeline, that's probably in Bali, right? Or that's probably on a different star system. And I said, you guys, I'm really struggling. Help me through this. And they came in and they said, Phil, we need you to trust that it's already worked out and you just show up, surrender, and it's already there. Everything's been orchestrated for you. So it's all these multidimensional aspects that may be you or may just be another aspect in the collective, because you are me and I am you. So let's say that you're homeless and you place a call spiritually, like, please God, send me help, right? I'm homeless. I don't want to be homeless. I actually want to better my life. I want to improve my state. That frequency is going to draw to it a match, which may be me, that comes along and says, how can I help you? Because we're all one. You got it? It doesn't always have to be just you and your other dimensional aspects. It can be any other dimensional aspect, because we're all part of the one. And sometimes we're going to do things that we don't want to do. That's just a fact. No one is exempt from having to do 3D things. No one is exempt. I want you to know that. No one is exempt from having to do 3D things. Okay? Yes, we can be high and lofty, and yes, we can vibrate high, and yes, we can create our own little castle. But every once in a while, if there's a collective call, or if there's another aspect of yourself that's placed an emergency call, you're going to have to go back and help it along. Because at the time that you made that choice, you might have been more fragmented than you are now. So that aspect continued on its own trajectory. That aspect continued on its own trajectory. You got it? So what we are asking you to do, we, and when I say we, I mean all of us as our higher self, to really open up your heart this month. Maybe not meditate as actively. Like if you're a wizard like me, you know what I'm talking about. It's something you can't even explain. Maybe just draw back into the heart. Know that all of the information that you need is right there. And trust that every single human that's being sent on your path is there to help you progress in your life, because there are major things in store for you. Because the me that I know myself to be doesn't want all of this, right? There's a part of me that does, but I never thought I'd be helping so many people. But evidently, there was a divine blueprint that I architected before I came in, and my team has a different plan for me. So I have to be along for the ride. So yes, crack your heart wide open. Look at people in their eyes. Smile more, because I even go to that place sometimes where I'm such a sorcerer that I have walls around me. You know, it's like I'm on a mission and I'm in a different state, so I can't even see people. But this month has been clicking us back into the space of grace, the space of grace, knowing that we are all in this together. Okay, all of us, right? I'm really good at metaphysical concepts. I'm not so good at interior design. There's someone out there who's been endowed with the ability to interior design. I honor you, because that's not my forte. But I know what my forte is, and I also know that we only have one life, and whatever it is that you're here to contribute to the collective better be good. So unfortunately, Michael Jordan couldn't be in the NFL. He had to be Michael Jordan in the NBA, number 23, right? Number 45 didn't work out too well for him, but that's another topic. But Michael Jordan could only be Michael Jordan. And it wasn't about the basketball. That was only a part of it. It was about making people believe that they can achieve the unattainable. Making people believe that they can perfect themselves and become the best basketball player that ever existed. And this week has been really eye-opening for me, because I now realize that I can't be the interior designer, and I can't be the person who goes out and does public speaking every 2 hours, or the person who goes to parties all day long. I can't be all of it. All I can do is be the best version of Phil, who's someone who's very passionate about meditating, about the esoteric. And when it comes to interior designers and all of this, I honor you, because you're a piece of the jigsaw that we need here. And in that regard, it's been a very humbling week for me, because I now finally understand that I'm not here to be all of the frequencies. I'm here to be my frequency. I'm here to be my own category. I'm not here to try to fit into another category. I'm not here to be in the NFL. I'm not here to be a golf player. I'm here to be Phil Good, Mr. Dot, and that is all. And through that, I'm going to honor everyone else who's doing their due diligence to show up in the best way that they can to help clear collective imprints. So that's my message today. And hopefully I did okay. I'm on 5 hours sleep, but I feel like this needed to be shared. And I love you guys, and I hope that you can subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you for your support, your donations. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in another version of the Now.